Hi, Aaron Samantha here, a naturopathic doctor. Today I'm going to show you how to make a chili. This recipe will be beneficial to you because we're going to make a big batch that you can implement for meals throughout the week. I call it Aaron's Chili Enters the Food Matrix. So let's get started. First of all, we're going to talk about the vegetable base for it. Beans and veggies, especially root veggies. So these are things like parsnips, sweet potatoes, beets, onions, garlic, ginger, all those things you can actually grow in your garden. Many people come to me and ask me, what can I do to prep better? Or how can I improve my nutrition during the week? And a lot of it comes down to preparation. So some people do a prep day. On Sunday, they'll cut vegetables, they'll package their meals into individual sizes for the week. This is what we're gonna do, but we're gonna make our meals a little more versatile than the same thing every day. So what we do, because preparation is more than half the battle. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna make this vegetable base, and our base for chili is beans, pulses, lentils, things like that, which you can buy dried, and that's the most affordable way to do it. So what I do is I'll buy my beans dried and packaged, and I'll soak them overnight. And when we do that, not only does it start off the breakdown of, or the germination process of your beans. So these are a mixture of beans, chickpeas, brown beans, navy beans, kidney beans, and other beans that I've soaked overnight, and lentils as well. I haven't put it in this one, but you can do it with lentils as well. So it starts the germination process. You can also add a tad of baking soda in there to help break down the sugars that give people a lot of flatulence, and that will cut that issue off. So beans, dried beans, soak them overnight. That's the best way. You can get canned beans already, but if you soak them overnight, they're ready to go into your chili base. The next part of it is our root vegetables. So we have our parsnips, our beets, our sweet potato, garlic, ginger, all that stuff, eggplants, eggplant not being a root vegetable, but all stuff you can grow in your garden. So easy to use, very affordable. We're going to use that as our base. And why is that important? Because they're very affordable, they're very nutritious, packed with phytonutrients. How many people are really getting their 5+ servings of vegetables a day? So something to track and see. This is a good way to get that nutrient-dense base and phytonutrients, vegetable nutrients, not only your micronutrients, so your minerals, selenium, and all those other good ones, but also your macronutrients, your complex carbs, your prebiotics, your fiber-rich stuff that really helps your gut intestines and promotes health in other ways as well from your gut. What we're going to start with is cutting up our onions and our root vegetables. So I've done that for you. So we're going to saute that first. So we've got our cut up onion. We're going to saute that with the zucchini, the eggplant, all those things that taste nice, a little more roasted. We're going to use some grapeseed oil just as our base. So throw in some grapeseed oil. You can use other oils as you wish. It's got a nice high smoking point, so we're going to do that. And I've already cut up our onion and other things. So nice produce from the garden. Zucchini's a little wet, so I'm going to leave that for a few minutes. We also pre-prep our garlic and ginger. So we cut it up and we freeze it into little ice cube trays. And that's a much easier way to just to implement that. So you can smell that nice ginger, still fresh, still strong. It will be a little more water dense, so at high heat, it'll work out. I am going to put garlic as well, also pre-minced, and turnips. I'm going to save the beets for later. And we're going to put the sweet potatoes in and our mushrooms as well. So far, we've got our garlic, our ginger, oil on the bottom, onion, sweet potato, and parsnips. And our mushrooms already cut up. So we're making a big batch here so that we can divide into meal-sized portions. All right, we're gonna stir this up a bit, get the flavors in. Actually, before we do that, we're gonna add our spices. Now this is obviously customized to your individual taste, but I'll share some of the things that I like to use. Obviously, a standard chili spice powder works. So usually has some kind of cayenne pepper, cumin, coriander seed, and then from there, spices as you need, or like rosemary, thyme, sage, whatever you like. So I like this blend, so we'll put this blend in. Some people like putting extra cumin or, turmeric, cumin and paprika as well. So be generous with this. Some people even put cocoa powder, maybe even red wine and other things like that. So be adventurous, try different things out. I'm gonna put an extra cumin in. The other thing I really like as a base is, here's my paprika. So spice-wise so far, I had my garlic minced already, my ginger. We've put in chili powder. This was paprika, and I've put in a little extra cumin as well. But what I like is, on top of all that, is a miso paste. I find it really brings in a nice, rich, sweet, savory taste to chilies and to other stews and other things. The good thing about miso is it's a fermented product, right? So it's a fermented soy, and only certain ones will actually still have live bacteria in it. So this is one of them. This is made on organic barley, aged 3 years, and smells nice and savory, strong. It's beautiful. So I'm going to put in, since this is a big batch, I'm going to put in 2 big tablespoons of this. So if you have trouble finding this, maybe check your health food store, or you may even have to order online for this. All right. So the miso is in. I've got my spices all in there. I'm going to give it a little toss before I put it on the stove and get this browned up a bit, and then I'll add the zucchini in. So that's my nice roasting, stir fry or sauteed base here. Put that on the stove. Okay, so we've added our spices, which are very rich in phytonutrients. The turmeric, the chili powders, the paprika, the herbs and stuff, they all have medicinal properties on their own. We've added our miso paste, which also is a ferment, very rich in nutrients. All our vegetables are fiber-rich, nutrient-dense stuff. The next thing is protein. We want good levels of protein in there. You have a few choices here. We have tempeh, we have meats, you have fish, you have chicken, turkey, all those kinds of things. First thing we're going to talk about is tempeh. This is a fermented soy product. Comes in a firm, kind of dense block. This is a Canadian Kitchener-Waterloo-based company, and they make different flavors on them. This one's a soy basil, or a basil taste. And what we do is, because it's very firm, you almost want to marinate it before. This one's already a little bit marinated with basil, but you can marinate it the day before in whatever sauce you wanted to. But we're just going to cut that up. You can cut this up and use this in sandwiches, fry it up and use it in sandwiches, or marinate it and use it in sandwiches. We're going to do it nice and thin to add to our sauteing. Leave a bit there. But you can also obviously use ground beef in your chili base. You can use turkey, chicken, or you can always stir fry it up or cook it up later to add. But remember, this is our base that we're going to use in different meals throughout the week. So let's throw our tempeh in. Good. So that's going to cook. We're going to get that nice and brown, stir it nice and frequently. And then we're going to add a couple more things to the base, and then we'll start with the crock pot addition and things to put in there. We're going to start here in our crock pots with some beans, the beans that we've soaked overnight. I'm missing lentils in here, but definitely add some lentils in here, but chickpeas, kidney beans, black beans, and other things. If you want more information about sprouting, we can talk about that later, but that's a good addition to add on later. So these are a few of the vegetables that I don't think that need to be sauteed. So our carrots, And this is a great way to use all those vegetables in your fridge that you haven't or have been neglected or you just haven't found time to use. So I've got some beets in there. Again, easy to grow in the garden. Tomatoes we've already cut up. And again, to save time, you know, you may have to resort to buying some canned things here and there, but most of the stuff you should have stocked in the fridge and or growing in the vegetable garden if you're lucky enough. So we've got our beans, some more root vegetables, some fresher stuff. We're going to put in some broth now. We make our own broth. You can easily buy bone broth at a lot of health food stores. But if you are making chicken or other meat products, make sure to keep the bones or ask your butcher for some bones and just to make a broth on your own. You can search that up. There's lots of different ingredients or videos out there to instruct you how to do that. So on the stove here, I have started defreezing our bone broth. This is a beef bones. So that will go in the crock pot and that gives a nice liquid base. That will defreeze and soak and marinate with the rest of the chili as we go. So we got our bone broth in there. The health benefits of bone broth, amazing source of minerals as well as collagen and great for the joints, also good for your GI tract. It really helps to help the cells of your GI tract and even supposedly gut impermeability or leaky gut, as they say. So good gut health food, immune food, micronutrients in bone broth itself. So find some or make some yourself. We're gonna add in our meats and the stuff that we had sauteing. So we're just gonna add that all in. So this is nicely roasted, browned a bit. Good. And we're gonna mix that all up together. And this will form the chili base that we'll be using in different dishes that we can meal prep for the week. So there we go. We're going to let that sit for a good few hours in the crock pot so that it's ready to use and dish out. So I've already got a batch done of our chili here. If you take a look, this is a crock pot done up. We have still our large pieces of sweet potato, all our vegetables, some tempeh in there, beans, all mixed up together. But I'm going to show you how this all puts together from the time that we did our sauteing to other stuff. So here we go. We're going to dump this out and we'll show you how it's done. Okay, so we're back from our crock pot of chili. We first sauteed everything with our spices, our protein, and some of those vegetables we wanted sauteed. We've let everything sit and marinate in a crock pot together. And now we've got the final product. And we're going to show you how to plate it for different menus, for different dishes during the week. All right, so option number one. What I like to prep ahead of time is wraps. You can get different wraps in different sizes, obviously, and different grains. A lot of people are used to the corn tortilla wraps. I've seen kamut wraps, spelt wraps. This is one I just picked up recently. It's a tortilla, chipotle tortilla. And it's actually made with some vegetables and a bit of kamut and other grains, so ancient grains. So we're going to wrap this up. This is a great way to incorporate chili into a quick lunch. And then you can garnish it as you need. So we're going to scoop out some chili. And remember, don't overstuff your wrap, right? So what I might do with this one is maybe keep it to a more southwestern theme. You can, if you have homegrown peppers, you can always cut those up. If you want to use sriracha or any other kind of hot sauce, you're welcome to put that on. I'm going to do that. And the other thing I really like adding is sauerkraut. We make our own pickled sauerkraut. You can always buy sauerkraut, different ones. Just plain old cabbage or pickle your own vegetables and spice them up as you wish. So I am going to add a tiny bit of sauerkraut to my wrap here of kimchi actually. So it's a little spicier than normal stuff. So not really a southwestern flavor here, but I like it spicy. So we're going to we're gonna do that. If you like more of that Southwestern flavor, you can put a little cheese on there, wrap it up, and put it in the toaster. The next recipe is just gonna be chili on rice. Now, depending on what kind of chili you've made, if it's a meat chili or tempeh chili or fish chili, you can always doctor it up and add some sauces to it. So if you're doing it on rice, say you want to have like an Indian twist to it, you can always add your garam masala or your vindaloo spices or whichever kind of Indian flavors you like to it. If you're doing it, and this is a food matrix we're talking about here. So you have your base, right? You have your chili base. If you haven't gone for a protein in it, you can add fish and then do it a certain style. You can add turkey or chicken and do it a certain style. So it's always good to start with a very neutral base and then doctor it up as you need and enter it into the matrix with the spices you like or need. You can go Greek, you can go Thai, you can add coconut milk, cilantro, basil, things like that to doctor it up. So what we're gonna do here is we've got our rice. This is, again, into the matrix, right? We've got all our different choices of grains here. So you can do it with quinoa. Quinoa is really easy and nutritious. You can do it with a rice blend here. This has got wild rice, brown rice, long grain basmati rice. So a whole bunch of different rices in here. And I've cooked it up here. So that's gonna be our base. Very nutritious, high fiber base. And you put your chili on top. And again, if you're reheating your chili, you can add your flavors in it. So I would maybe make this more of an Indian style. Put a vindaloo or a garam masala spice and put this on. Maybe cook up some extra protein on the side and add that in. All right. So dish number 2, chili and rice. The next one we're going to go to is sort of similar to that one, along the same ideas using noodles. So noodles come in a lot of different variety. You can get pasta noodles, example. This is a spirelli noodle made out of kamut wheat as a base with added vegetables. You can see beet, and I think they've done spinach and carrot in this one as well. One of the noodles I really like out there is noodles made out of konjac. So you can get these again in different forms. This one here is a thin noodle, almost like a spaghetti style almost. But the konjac root is very high fiber and very low glycemic, so great for sugar metabolism and fiber content. So I'm going to use that as my base. Now if I was doing this, because it's a light white noodle, I might do it Thai style. So I might put in a Thai curry paste, basil, maybe even lemongrass, things like that. And if it was a neutral tempeh veggie chili base, maybe I'll add some fish in there, like tuna, and really get a good green coconut curry kind of taste going. So that's a bit much, but we'll go with that. And we'll put our chili on top. Again, think about doing your green curry paste on top of that. So different flavors too. That's the whole point of the matrix. You start with your neutral base and you put them into different meals. Now the next one is a little more complicated, but it's great to for those people who have trouble eating those vegetables, if they're eggplant, zucchini, or whatever vegetable wary. We're going to step over here and we're going to put this base and blend it into a soup. So as you get down in your stock of chili, you want to get rid of some vegetables, put it in a pot, blend it up, make it more like a soup stew. So the fourth dish we're going to make today is more of a stew soup. So we're going to grab our chili over here and we're going to blend it up. So this is great for disguising all those vegetables for those people who are a little wary of that. So we're just going to throw our chili in here and we're going to give it a blend. Just throw it all in. There we go. And you can also use a Cuisinart, obviously, or another blender, but I'm just going to quickly do it with the hand blender because I do like some chunks still in there as well so that they get a mixed consistency. And again, with this, once it's in more of a paste soup, you can water it down with bone broth or just water even to make it last longer. And again, throwing in your other vegetables too. So we'll start with this, and then I may add in a few other things. Okay, I'm gonna add in a few other things. So some spinach, kale, chard, even some cilantro. So let's bring these over here. So I'm gonna put in, I like cilantro a lot, I like basil a lot, rosemary, but let's just put some of that in. And I'm gonna sneak in some kale, chard, and spinach in. Some of this is available, we've had grown from our garden, but otherwise you can buy mixes like this one from the grocery store. So great way to hide some of those vegetables, but I don't like to totally blend everything up because I want them to know that they're actually eating some of the good stuff that I tell them that we're eating. So here we go, blending it up. So there we have it. There's our blended chili paste almost. And again, you can dish this out like a sauce, reuse it in pasta dishes, noodle dishes, wrap it up, or serve it on rice, and or just dilute it quite a bit and have it as a soup. We've completed our chili recipe. I'll post the link to the actual ingredients and the options you can use. But basically, we have our chili paste, our chili base, and we've made into 4 different dishes. You can always have the chili with a nice piece of sourdough bread or just on its own as a nice warming, nutritious food. But here I've shown you can have it in like a Santa Fe wrap, melted cheese in it. You can put in, a pickle or whatever you would like to make it more suitable to your tastes. That's a great way to have it for lunch. Here we put it with konjac noodles, cilantro. Because this was a vegetarian tempeh-based chili, you could add fish in it and like a coconut curry with the paste and the coconut milk. So these are easy additions to do on the night of. So you just pull out your chili, the noodles take a second, and then you add everything in, heat it up, and you're done. Same thing with rice. Rice we usually cook up ahead of time as well. Throw your chili on some rice. While you're cooking, warming up the chili, you can add in some Indian spices. So this can be more of an Indian spice mix, maybe with a meat, like a beef dish. And then the last one, when you're trying to use up all your vegetables again, throw it all in a pot, mash it up with a hand blender, and then you've got a nice paste that you can always use as a soup base. And again, put on the side of a nice bread or something like that and enjoy. So 4 easy meal. The chili's also available as a meal on its own. 5 meals from one recipe. You just have to put it into the matrix and add your flavors and your sides to it. And there you go, a very nutritious meal. We'll put up the link. If you have any questions, drop me an email, aaron@fitnd.com. Stay tuned, many more recipes to enter the food matrix and show you how to live and eat healthy. Stay tuned. Thanks. Bye.